Once I passed that, then I said, okay, well, if I can buckle down and study for that, then maybe I can buckle down and study for the PE. So I just started, going through the whole application process to see if I can even get approved. I think it took me 6 to 8 months. Thought I was going to get a PE. Didn't happen that way. They told me to go back and take the FE. And of course, my heart sank because I told you how complicated it appeared to me. So I decided, oh man, I got to take the FE.
To have that motivation that, I didn't do a 4-year engineering degree, or I don't have, I have a technologist background and whatnot, and I'm going to use the P license as my 4-year degree. Hi, Brian.
Hello, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. You look super happy. End of the year. You got the job done by passing the FE electrical and computer exam. Many congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
This is an amazing way to end the year, right?
Yes, most definitely.
Right. And your story is very interesting because you had already passed the P Power exam, and apparently there was a little bit of confusion around whether you were exempted or not, but the board told you that you need to still pass the FE. So you took care of the second exam first, and then you got started with the FE. I'd appreciate if you can give me a little bit of an overview of when you graduated, your experience in terms of your working experience, and what led you to pursue PE license a little bit later in your career, as opposed to getting incentivized or getting motivated to take care of it sooner rather than later.
Sure. So I work in the railroad industry as an engineer. I graduated school in 2006 originally with a degree in information technology, and went back to school for a degree in engineering. I got 2 years into that program, and basically was financially kicked out from the program because I couldn't. I think my financial aid had run out. I think you only get 10 years to complete a bachelor's degree. Because I had already had a bachelor's degree, that the clock didn't reset. Basically, at once that 10-year limit hit, they said, hey, you got to pay for everything on your own. No more financial aid. I said, okay, well, what do I do? They said, well, you can go to graduate school. The clock resets if you go to graduate school. So I went to graduate school, got a degree in engineering technology, a master's degree in engineering technology. And for some reason, I think the goal for most of the people who work in engineering, particularly in the private sector, in the public sector, is to get a professional engineering license. So, I thought, hey, I want that. That's something I want. I always felt like because I never completed that 4-year degree, that the PE was my degree. So although I didn't get a 4-year degree in engineering, if I got that PE, that's my engineering degree. So that's one of the reasons why I chose to pursue it. But just looking at the FE exam, starting out, it was complicated. It looked really hard. I actually took it back in 2014, 15, I think I took it, and failed it. I didn't really study as hard. I just studied math and some other subjects, but just to see what it was like, and it just seemed to be insurmountable. So I just gave up. And then in 2018, I pursued a project management professional degree, professional certification. I'm sorry. And once I passed that, then I said, okay, well, if I can buckle down and study for that, then maybe I can buckle down and study for the PE. So I just started, going through the whole application process to see if I can even get approved. I think it took me 6 to 8 months to get my application approved because I didn't have a ABET accredited bachelor's degree. So I had to keep going back and forth. The board met only once a month. So I had to keep going back. You don't find out whether your application was approved for an entire month. So that took a while. And then once I got approved, then I think they waived. I think there was some miscommunication. I thought my FE exam had been waived, and I went right ahead into the PE topics. Start studying for the PE. In 2022, I passed, and thought I was going to get a PE. Didn't happen that way. They told me to go back and take the FE. And of course, my heart sank because I told you how complicated it appeared to me. So I decided, oh man, I got to take the FE. I just passed the PE, so I could do the FE. So I started studying for the FE. The problem was with me at that particular time, I was working close to 80 hours a week. So trying to squeeze in studying time was very, very difficult. But I just started studying, and I took the test in, let's see, early this year and didn't do well. I don't actually, I didn't do well. So I just kind of recouped. Someone told me about your course. I think I saw some of your videos on YouTube and said, hey, what the hell? I'll take a shot at it. So I signed up for your course, and I think it was the best thing I did in terms of FE preparation because it definitely gave me a lot of the tools that I needed, particularly your strategy on the big five topics. I really poured a lot of energy into those topics, and uh, and I just kind of followed that whole process. So that process that I followed for the big five topics, I just completed that until I felt comfortable taking random exams, and of course, it eventually led to me passing the exam. So that was the whole process. That's my career process in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's really impressive because a lot of people, just to get started, and you're pretty well settled in your career, right? You have a pretty decent job, and you, if I'm not mistaken, you sort of have a managerial leadership role already. So to have that motivation that, I didn't do a four-engine degree, or I don't have I have a technologist background and whatnot, and I'm going to use the P license as my four-year degree. That tells me a lot about your drive, your character, and then passing the PE power exam and then being like, okay, now I get my license. But then you're told that you have to go back and deal with the demon that you were afraid of,
Yeah.
right? It's almost like you're playing a video game and you skip one level, and you go to the next level, take care of the big boss over there. But then you're told, no, you need to go back to where all the challenges really lie. And and the first time it didn't happen, right? You had a multiple attempt scenario. In fact, you had tried, as you mentioned, in 2014, 2015 FE already, and you can make it happen. So multiple failed attempts, but then you buckled up, right? And you're like, I'm going to now make use of this resource. And it was not a very smooth journey, correct? I mean, we interacted, you sent me emails a couple of times. You're like, Wasim, I'm not able to make sense of Laplace. What do I do? I'm not able to make sense of this. And you did not shy away from going deeper and deeper and deeper, learning isolated sections, right? The big five obviously helped you because you use the on demand plus the live training. But one thing that really stands out to me in terms of your preparation is that despite all of that turbulence in terms of, you qualify for the license, you don't qualify for the license, you have to go back, you have to take this, you kept your focus, right? And those small individual items that were bugging you in your previous attempts, right? You dealt with them head on, and you put in extra time and effort. Can you help me explain, understand what was your thought process, and how did you bring yourself up to motivation that I'm never gonna do Laplace transforms at work. I'm not never gonna do Z transforms at work, or the computer sections, for instance. But how did you push yourself in terms of diving deeply into those topics in the context of the exam? That this is definitely what I need in order to pass the exam. Otherwise, I will be in a repeat situation again.
Yeah, so it was do or die. So for me, so I finally found a resource. I think your course, like I said, was a resource that I it was excellent, and all of the information was there. All I had to do was just apply myself. So with the place transforms, with some of the other topics in linear systems, even some of the topics in I think it was one of the other signal processing, communications, some of those topics, I really didn't get deep into those topics, but I got deep enough to get enough information so if something showed up easy on the exam, it was low hanging fruit. And actually, believe it or not, there was some questions that on the exam and communications and all of the topics that I didn't really dive deep into. They were low hanging fruit. Believe it or not, I was able to go right to the FE reference manual. Look up that particular topic because I looked at the questions and I could see, okay, this question this looks like something I'm used to. I've seen this before, so let me just go to the FE reference manual to see if this is something that I can solve without a lot of thought. And actually it was more plug and play. So I think that helped me get at least 2 to 3 questions on each of those topics correct. But as far as motivation is concerned, I was just motivated. I just wanted to pass. I'm 54 years old and I've been studying now. I've been in school studying for probably 25 years and I'm tired, man. I had enough. I just want to work now. I just want to focus on work. So that really was my motivation, was just trying to get focused, trying to get that done so that I can get more focused on work and be a better manager at my position at work.
That's great. It's very inspiring, and you have no idea how many new graduates, when they enroll in the program, they're like, "Oh, I'm tired of studying because I just completed my degree." And your example is so refreshing, where you've been out of school for a long time, you've been in the industry, and for a long time, and despite all the obstacles that you had to overcome, you still keep your motivation. And that's, I think, of all the different variables and factors that go into passing these exams, the single most important one is by far the motivation. Because if you have the motivation to take on this challenge, stay consistent with your preparation, use effective resources, obviously they come into play, and just have a 1 point goal that I want to get this done come hell or high water, you will pass the exam, right? And otherwise, everything else, life happens. I mean, I'm not being insensitive or indifferent to the fact that there will be things that will come up, most likely, right? Personal, professional, health reasons, travel, work, but your ability to sort of weather all the storms, and even if you encounter setbacks, right, in which case, in your case, you didn't, you had previous failed attempts, right? But you kept your focus. You're like, okay, this needs to be done. So that's amazing. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us, and I'm hopeful that this will serve as a good motivational boost for a lot of other folks who feel like the P license is an elusive target, elusive game, goal, a dream that is for someone else but not for them. I think your story shows us that if you have a strong enough motivation and a reason, then anyone can achieve it.
Yes. So for anyone that is some of the one thing I did look up, Wasim, is so when I first started studying, I was 48, 49, I'm sorry, for the PE exam. And I looked up, am I too old to be taking the PE exam? Because I'm thinking, man, do I really want to do this at my age, And so I just want to encourage anyone else out there that's older who may be looking for licensure. I like to encourage you to just do it. Plug ahead, do it. Focus. It really takes. For me, it took a little longer because I don't have the as much of an engineering background as most people do. I pretty much learned almost all of the topics from scratch. I read books, videos, and then used the preparation courses to kind of, put everything together. So some of the people who do have engineering backgrounds, go back to your education that you received in engineering school, maybe and maybe follow some of the same processes that I followed, videos, books. I know Wasim has some really, really good material. The books, I don't think there's anything that can compare with the materials that you have, to be honest. So I think if anyone, that's a little older looking to get a PE license, I think that Wasim's course is probably, actually, it is hands down the best course out there as far. And I've taken other courses in preparation for the FE exam, and they didn't get me over the hump. So, and in fact, they didn't even get me close. So, I like to encourage you, if you are looking to take the PE exam and you're over 40, over 50, you can do it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Brian. It was really good to have you in the program. Really, and thanks a lot for those kind words of appreciation. And what a way to end the year. And I wish you best of luck in your future career endeavors. With this confidence and achievement, I think that you can take on anything
Yeah, I think
going
so. I
forward.
think so. It's definitely next. I'm going to write papers. I think that's my next goal, is to write
That's
papers.
great. Write some IEEE papers, write some white papers, go to
Yes.
conferences, become the keynote speaker,
Yep.
identify a specialization that you are really passionate about. And I'm sure if you put your mind to it, you will do great things in any domain.
Yes, sir.
So thanks a lot. I wish you best of luck and we'll stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate everything.
If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. On a weekly basis, I'm creating content for FE Electrical and PE Power exam preparation. I also discuss topics related to electrical engineering with a focus on power systems engineering. If you'd like to learn more about my FE Electrical and PE Power exam preparation programs, please visit my website, StudyforFE.com.